The floundering and flailing Donald Trump was recently asked whether he will support or oppose a 6-week abortion ban in Florida, and he kicked the proverbial hornet's nest with his answer, this time in his own backyard, and has created a giant mess for the Republican Party, and we have to talk about it and take delight in it. But before we do, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, if you needed any additional proof about the fact that Donald Trump is not a very stable genius and is in fact really, really stupid and is just profoundly lucky, look no further than this. As you know, Donald Trump is the leader of the Republican Party, and much of the Republican Party's electoral strength is evangelical Republicans, people who are profoundly religious and who see abortion as murder. And they are very often single issue voters, right? Abortion is the way or the means by which many people who are personally disgusted by Donald Trump, a malignant narcissist, serial philanderer and liar and adulterer and just general indecent person, why they're willing to vote for him so enthusiastically, because they saw him as a mechanism by which they can accomplish their pro-life, or more accurately, pro-forced birth policies. And to their credit, they effectively abolished Roe v. Wade by Trump appointing 3 Supreme Court justices. The problem is, electorally on a national level, abortion is a losing issue for Republicans. And Trump has finally come to understand that, and he's trying to walk a tightrope. Well, not only is he the Republican presidential nominee, he is also a resident of the state of Florida. And on the Florida ballot will be a 6-week abortion ban. It's a referendum that Florida citizens will have the chance to vote on, and it's wildly unpopular there too. And after months of waffling back and forth and being non-committal, a reporter managed to pin Trump down and get him to answer this controversial question. So we're going to play the clip, and then we're going to explore the fallout.
You overturned,
everyone does.
I think
everyone
Roe,
does, yeah.
And you want abortion to be a states' rights issue. In Florida, the state that you are a resident of, there's an abortion-related amendment on the ballot to overturn the 6-week ban in Florida. How are you going to vote on that?
Well, I think the 6-week is too short. It has to be more time, and so and I've told them that I want more weeks.
So you'll vote in favor of the amendment?
I am going to be voting that we need more than 6 weeks. Look, just so you understand, everybody wanted Roe v. Wade terminated for years, 52 years. I got it done. They wanted it to go back to the states. Exceptions are very important for me, for Ronald Reagan, for others that have navigated this very, very interesting and
So you can tell he is profoundly uncomfortable with this topic. Again, as well he should, because electorally, this is a dead issue. Well, it's infuriated many people in Trump's proverbial backyard. Fox is talking about it. Pro-lifers blast Trump betrayal with shifting abortion stance. Answer on Florida Amendment number 4. Trump's latest comments on abortion, including his opposition to Florida's ban on abortions after 6 weeks gestation, have sparked backlash from pro-life advocates on social media. Quote, Trump has destroyed both the conservative movement and the pro-life movement. He's done what even Barack Obama couldn't do, one user on X said. Former Vice President Mike Pence also posted on X saying, quote, I'm pro-life. I don't apologize for it. That was also one of the reasons that Mike Pence cited that he would not endorse Donald Trump in the 2024 election. The other being that Trump asked him to put Trump above the Constitution on January 6th, but the other one being Trump's nebulous position, unprincipled position on the matter of abortion. He's for it when it's convenient. He opposes it when it's not. Georgia-based nationally syndicated radio host and prominent conservative commentator Eric Erickson also slammed Trump's comments, saying on X, quote, instead of having all the focus on Kamala Harris' interview tonight, Trump decided to further divide the GOP. Not a good strategy for winning. People are not happy with Donald Trump for this comment. And again, reporters in the media and Democrats have been trying to pin him on this because no matter what he does, he's going to drive away groups of people that he needs. The Trump coalition, you have to remember, has never represented the majority of the electorate. Anti-Trump people have always, will always, and currently do outnumber pro-Trump coalitions. But Trump, on the subject of abortion, he risks infuriating one cohort or another. So if he seems too supportive of the right to choose, then he's going to alienate evangelical conservatives whom he needs to win his election if they refuse to hold their nose and vote for him. But if he leans too far in the pro-forced birth position, he's going to alienate suburban women, women in general, and independents whom he needs in order to win, right? So he has no margin for error. He has a foot in both worlds, and I love it. The Trump campaign does not love it, however. So after Donald Trump said what he said in that clip, they released a formal statement. Trump campaign statement on Florida's ballot initiative. Quote, President Trump has not yet said how he will vote on the ballot initiative in Florida. He simply reiterated that he believes 6 weeks is too short, says Carolyn Levitt, Trump campaign national press secretary. Trump campaign releases an official statement attempting to walk back Trump's comments supporting voting against the Florida 6 weeks abortion ban. So damn funny. So now, again, they're trying to figure this out in real time. Oh my God, where do we fall on this? What do we say? How do we say this? How can we somehow thread this needle where we can keep our evangelical base and also not drive away, independents, women, moderates? I think they're mutually exclusive. This is one of those issues where I don't think it's possible to thread that needle. But the more that they continue to debate it and have this internal waffling, the weaker it makes Trump look. So I'm all for it. I will also say that Vice President Harris dropped a pretty brutal short ad using Trump's own words on the topic of abortion and reproductive rights and IVF. So we're going to play that because it's something you should definitely share if you're on social media.
And who always has your best interests and has your back. I have your back, I have your heart, and I have every other part of your body. And I have every other part of your body, and I have every other part of your body, and I have every other part of your body, and I have every other part of your body, and I have every other part of your body, and I have every other part of your body, and I have every other part of your body. And who always has.
So it's a very short, 20-second ad, very effective using Trump's own words, his own creepy rhetoric there. But it's so interesting to see how much Trump is struggling with this. And indeed, he is struggling immensely. The abortion thing is a situation where they're the dog that caught the car. They really are. For years, for decades, Republicans have attempted to overturn Roe v. Wade. And it's been a decades-long effort by conservative activist groups and the Federalist Society and the Heritage Foundation and others. The problem is they didn't know what to do, and I don't think they were prepared for the fallout once they accomplished this particular goal. Approval of the Supreme Court plummeted as a consequence, so the Supreme Court suffered backlash, which is good, and Republicans have suffered one electoral defeat after another, even in very conservative areas like Kansas and Kentucky. And because of this ballot referendum, it's not good for Republicans because it will increase Democratic turnout in Florida, which is otherwise seen as a pretty locked up red state stronghold. It wasn't just the Trump campaign in terms of its official press statements trying to walk this back. J.D. Vance, Donald Trump's evangelical pro-life running mate, is also making the rounds, this time on CNN, trying to cover for Trump, even though he's ultimately contradicting what Trump said.
Where he said he would vote for more than 6 weeks in Florida. When the campaign then put out a statement saying, yeah, but he's not saying he's going to vote for the amendment which would allow for more than 6 weeks. And I was asking you if it was a language thing, if he understood what he was saying, or if this was a shift in position.
Well, again, John, and thanks. I can hear you much better now. I appreciate you guys fixing that. But look, the president is simply saying he doesn't like 6 weeks. He obviously has said he doesn't like late-term abortion. And I think he will make an announcement on what he actually wants to do on the Florida law in particular. But again, President Trump's been extremely consistent that he's going to make this decision as a citizen of Florida, but he wants the national government that he intends to lead to be focused on national issues like inflation, the cost of housing, and the wide open southern border. He wants states to make their own abortion policy, and that will be his position for the remainder of the campaign and the remainder of his presidency.
You say he's been consistent, but of course there was a period in Donald Trump's life where he was not anti-abortion. Then he became anti-abortion, at one point suggesting that women should be punished if they have an abortion. Now he's saying he's for more than 6 weeks, but it's not clear how he's going to vote in an amendment in his own state. So that's why I think people are seeking clarity. You can understand that.
Well, John, the Dobbs decision, what it fundamentally did is this goes back to Democratic legislatures.
And again, he has no interest in answering the question. What he wants to do is try to manage the fallout of Donald Trump's announcement. And again, the formal announcement from the Trump campaign, if anything, was as much as damaging to Trump's credibility as anything else, and really does feed into this idea that he has handlers because he's so reckless and so impulsive that he can't be trusted to speak on his own behalf, which ironically is something that MAGA Republicans and Trump supporters used to say about President Biden. It's so interesting how those criticisms that they levied before are now coming home to roost for their own candidate. But again, Democrats and progressives and liberals are and should continue to make hay of this. And I'll also point out, I suppose, just to kind of drive this home, but Dana Perino, former Bush press secretary and Fox News host, she is also mentioning that even though recent polls say that abortion is not the top priority for most voters, it's the economy. She says that this is basically poison for Trump electorally, and even the quote unquote leave it to the states thing is not flying with most women.
But to your point on what Trump has been saying, like he is trying to say, like it's fine if the states decide. Let the states decide. And what the recent poll that I saw from KFF showed is that women are not okay, apparently, with the majority of women are not okay with the states deciding. They want the federal government to have a blanket policy. But in addition to that, you will have these abortion referendums in the states like Arizona and Nevada. Could that be the difference for Kamala Harris if those races remain?
Yes, it could. Yes, it could. Right. Those referenda will incentivize people to turn up to the ballot box if the presidential race isn't sufficient to inspire them. That will increase the likelihood that people make the effort. And Republicans dread eligible voter turnout, maximizing eligible voter turnout, which is why in so many instances they wanted to keep these abortion referenda off the ballots, right, in order to disincentivize people turning out. This election is not over by any stretch of the imagination, but this is bad news for Trump politically. It's bad news for him electorally in terms of, again, the ballot referenda. And it's important for those of us who oppose Donald Trump to make sure that we feed this controversy as much as we possibly can. But otherwise, let me know what you think in the comments.